In this video, I'm going to look at this article about how climate apocalypse fears are stopping people from having children. And then I'm going to also look at this other thread about it's from Askman. How many people have at least 10K in savings? Yeesh. So, here, let's read the article. It's about this long. Sometimes I don't even know why these articles are this long. Let's read it. Climate apocalypse fears stopping people having children. Study. Survey of 600 people. Is that enough? Survey of 600 people find some parents regret having offspring for some reason. People worried about the climate crisis are deciding not to have children because of fears that their offspring would have to struggle through a climate apocalypse, according to the first academic study of the issue. The researchers surveyed 600 people ages 27 to 45 who were already factoring climate concerns into their reproductive choices, and found 96% were very or extremely concerned about the well-being of their potential future children in a climate change world. I have these fears too. One 27-year-old woman said, I feel like I can't in good conscience bring a child into this world and force them to try and survive what may be apocalyptic conditions. These views are based on very pessimistic assessments of the impact of global heating on the world, the researcher said. One respondent, for example, said it would rival World War I in its sheer terror. The research also found that some people who were already parents expressed regret over having their children. Having a child also potentially means that person going on to produce a lifetime of carbon emissions that contribute to the climate emergency, but only 60% of those surveyed were very concerned about this carbon footprint. The fears about the carbon footprint of having kids tended to be abstract and dry, said Matthew Schneider-Meyerson of Yale and US College in Singapore, who led the study. But the fears about the lives of existing or potential children were really deep and emotional. It was often heartbreaking to pour through their responses. A lot of people really poured their hearts out. The number of people factoring climate change into their reproductive plans were likely to grow as the impacts of global heating became more obvious. To address this, we really need to act immediately to address the root cause, which is climate change itself. Alright, I'm going to skim the rest of this article. The study. I'm going to read the last two paragraphs. As climate change continues to worsen, it is important to understand how perceptions of the future can change. Okay, next final paragraph. This is also growing evidence of climate anxiety affecting mental health, and earlier in 2020, more than 1,000 clinical psychologists signed an open letter warning of acute trauma on a global scale. Last week, a survey revealed more than half of child and adolescent psychiatrists in England were seeing patients distressed about the state environment. Nothing new, already all know these things. I think if I were to take action on this, if anything, I should just stop reading articles. I should stop continuing reading articles that say already what you know and just rally under somebody who actually has the money, capital to fight these things. And it would be Bill Gates. I know he has his climate change newsletter. So to save time in the future, I should, not spend my time reading these articles in the comments about things like I already know, and I should, quickly get to, what is Bill Gates doing and rally under him. Let's take a look. Let's take a look through the comments. Refresh the page. Yep, I can't even afford to raise kids. I'm waiting until Great Depression 2 is over. Normal people have their income gone for rent bills, 20% gone for loan payments, 10% for food, repelling split between miscellaneous and savings. Government, why aren't you all having more kids? They ask, but at the same time they know. And if you do have children, they blame you for being irresponsible. Moreover, all the high-paying jobs are in expensive cities. True. In order to have space to properly raise your children, you gotta move to the burbs and do that god-awful commute in every single day. Not looking forward to that when the wife is ready for kiddos. Second top level comment. Well, that and the overwhelming cost of children and the underwhelming increase in wages. Children, a mortgage would wipe out 85% of my income and then work full-time for almost 2 decades now. The cost of living here in the Northeast compared to wages and degree requirements is simply not fair. Modern-day slave wages. No disrespect to what happened back then. Sorry for the comparison. This is how I feel though. Feudalism is back, baby. Third top-level comment, and then let's go to this red thread about how many of you have at least 10K in savings. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, my teachers were explaining in classes like geography, history, and science about how the population boom would result in massive pollution. Wildlife die-offs, oil shortages, global warming, wars, etc. is not new thinking. As a result, I decided by the time I was in college I never wanted to bring kids into this world. I'm retired now and have never had kids and don't regret it. Well, shit. On the other side of the coin, I have young kids. They're beautiful, sweet, kind, blah, blah. I'm the luckiest parent alive, I really am. I have regrets having them largely because of the climate crisis and growing wealth inequality. It's a strange thing to wrestle with because I can't imagine never having met them, but I really brought them into a shit world. I feel guilty about it silently every day. You made the right choice. God damn. I mean, once again, all this is nothing I haven't heard before. I'm trying to get my friends to be more on this train of thought. Like, we gotta be paying attention to this. I've got one kid, but I feel the same way. My wife really wanted kids. The only way I could justify it was to tell myself that I raised him in the way that he was more of the solution than he was a problem. Skimming. You know, maybe I'll come back to this comment later on. For now, I'm going to also look at this article. Yeah, this is how it is in 2020. This is my news getting routine in the morning. This Ask Men Reddit thread. How many of you have at least 10K in savings? I've been researching this, and less than 15% of men my age, 31, have 10K in savings. I think he meant have more than 10K in savings, most live paycheck to paycheck. How about you guys? Edit. I think we should list whether we enjoy our jobs or not, because time is money, and time spent in a well-paying shit job is probably less valuable over time than if you have less money but truly love your job. I'm a filmmaker for a living and get to travel the world and shoot for a living. So stockpiling money isn't as important to me as investing in the gear to get these jobs. It's all context dependent, I suppose. Let's refresh the page. Wondered. This person has about 20.59 in his account right now. He'd have more than that, but the last year has been hard. But that said, we are one late paycheck or one emergency away from not being able to cover our obligations, and as a dad and provider, I'm scared shitless. Yup, people are suffering. 170K, different currency, so it's more like 600. Still, you didn't specify a number, just said a number. Sincerely, other countries of the world. Damn. This guy has only $600 in savings. Before 2020, I did have more than 10K in savings. Going into 2021, I did not. And this person responds, going to 2022, you will again, king. Yeah. Man, these comments are pretty much useless. Unless the responder is saying definite ways in which you can take action to increase your worth, your net worth. Like, they're not useful to people. This guy says, bro, I didn't even make 10K this year. And yeah, with that, I'm going to close this thread. This is the state of majority of people in 2020. This is no joke. I'm doing these screen recordings so I can just vent and get my thought out and practice speaking more. And just, yeah, going a whole day without speaking, even just to myself, is not good. It's not good for anyone. End video.